And today's practice is going to be a relatively gentlish kind of flow in respect of nothing extremely complicated, but I will ask you to have one yoga block or a book if you don't have a block, and a strap. If you don't have a strap, then maybe a dressing gown cord or something like that. So if you need to pause the video to grab your kit, go ahead and do that. But we'll begin from a seated position. So just start off sitting comfortably for you. I'm going to sit cross-legged. If you prefer a different position, then you take that. And just centre yourself, coming into your own space. If you want to close your eyes, let them close. Or you might just want to make the gaze soft. Just bringing your attention to the steadiness of the breath. Having a quiet breath. We're not doing much at the moment, so we don't need a deep, noisy breathing practice right now. And just trust that the breath will work for you, and if you do need more air, it will give you that at the right time. So keeping the back in a straight position, just nod the chin down towards the chest, towards the notch between the collarbones. And then just gently guide the right ear to the right shoulder. Try not to let the shoulder come up, so keep the shoulder nice and relaxed. Let the head naturally dangle, don't try and force the ear towards the shoulder. And then just roll the head back through centre, around to the left. I'm going to move through this. Take a few rounds of these half circles in your own time. And just checking in with your neck. If your neck is feeling okay, you might feel you could take these movements into full neck circles. Keep this movement slow, and only go into the full circle. It's feeling okay. If you did choose to take the full circle, when the chin gets back towards the chest, just swap the direction. Make this your last repetition. And when the chin is back towards the chest, just holding it there. And take the hands and just gently rest them on towards the top of the head. And just allow the weight of the hands and the arms to gently give you a neck stretch. So no force here at all. Off. And then just reach your right arm out to the side, just gently rest the fingertips on the floor, and then guide your left ear towards your left shoulder. And now play with this stretch. You might want to lift the arm up and just continue to lift the arm and find a place square. It gives you the best feedback down the side of the neck here. So I know if I come up too high that I lose it, but then probably about here for me. Take right fingertips back to the floor, take the left hand towards the side of the head, guide the head back upright. Take the left hand out to the side, just gently resting the fingertips towards the floor. And then just let that right ear drop to the right shoulder. And then again, start to move the arm in space until you find that bit of feedback that feels good for you. You might be getting sensations anywhere between your head and your fingertips. Dropping the left fingertips back to the floor, take right hand to the side of the head, just guide the head back up centre. Moving into the shoulders now, so just have the hands on the legs, and just start to rotate the right shoulder, up, back and down. Reverse the direction you took the rotation. And then coming back to stillness. Reaching the right arm up towards the ceiling, turn the palm to face behind and just gently rest the right fingertips into the shoulder, maybe more the upper back. And just take the left hand and guide that arm a little further back, but try not to pop your rib cage, so we're not going into a back bend here. And then bring the right arm back out in front, and then guide it across the body, and take the left hand towards the lower forearm, just bringing that arm a bit closer to your chest. And then releasing the right arm, taking the left arm up towards the ceiling, turn the palm to face behind, and just take the fingertips to shoulder, upper back, and then take the right arm and just gently guide that left elbow a little further back without coming into a back bend. Releasing, hold, take the left arm out in front, guide it across the body, take right hand to lower forearm, just pressing in towards the chest, keeping square, facing forwards. And then releasing off, perhaps have a bit of a wiggle here. And then we'll just come into the hands, so reach right arm out in front again, turn the palm upwards, take the left hand towards the fingers and just gently guide the fingers back towards the wrist. So just notice if your right elbow has gone into hyperextension here. If it has, just maybe slightly back off. You don't want to be going into the elbow joint, you're targeting the wrist. Releasing off, flipping the palm over, and then turn the hands so the fingertips are facing towards the floor, and just gently assist that slightly deeper, holding on to the back and the palm of the hand. Releasing off, taking left arm out, turning palms up, and then taking that wrist stretch on the other side, just checking in that you're not sending all of that energy into the elbow joint. coming back centre, turning the palm down and just reversing that. So help that wrist come into a forward flexion here. And then releasing off. So just take the legs out in front of you, because we've been sat still for a while. And just warm up the feet and the ankles. So just start to circle the ankles around. Doesn't matter which direction, because we'll just swap in a minute anyway. Take them back the opposite way. Maybe point and flex them a few times. And then just bring the soles of the feet so they're touching, holding onto the ankles or the feet, and just gently bouncing the knees here. Doesn't matter how close to the floor the knees are. It's going to be different for everyone. Just slowly start to come to stillness, and then we're going to move over to an all fours tabletop position. And from our all fours tabletop position, we're going to move into the back now. So taking our cat-cow stretches, if you know this, you've done it loads of times, just go straight into it. But we're having the knees hip distance directly underneath the hips, and the wrists underneath the shoulders. Dipping the back, sending the chest through the shoulders, gazing forwards, and then rounding the back, taking the gaze towards the belly button. Move through these two positions at your own pace. Try to involve as much as the back as you can in this movement. And maybe make this into more of a cat dance. You might want to take some body rolls here. Reversing. And then just coming back to stillness. Reach the right leg out behind, just tuck the toes under. Push the heel towards the floor, and then turn that right foot parallel. Take the left foot out behind slightly, just for balance, and we're going to come in towards our right fingertips and reach our right arm up towards the ceiling. So we're in a modified version of side plank here. Now you might want to stay with this, or you might want to reach the right arm over by the ear, into that powerful side body stretch. Just check in there's no tension in the neck. And then bring the hand back down by the side of the body. And then slowly bring yourself upright. So we're in our gate pose now. And reaching the left arm up towards the ceiling. And then side bend over towards the right. Sending that right hand down the side of the right leg. Coming back centre, and then take the hands down towards the floor just in front of you. And then there's a choice here, we're going to just gently move backwards and forwards. Now you can explore this, you can either do it up on the hands, or you might prefer to drop down to the elbows and see how that changes it. Or I wouldn't say one was more sensational than the other, they're just different. I personally get more feedback when I'm on my forearms. If you're down on your forearms, just come back up on towards the palms. Planting the right hand in towards the floor, reach the left arm up, and then bringing the left arm through, taking it underneath the right armpit, lower the left shoulder towards the floor, gently resting the cheek down or the side of the head. Either keeping the right hand here, or you might reach up towards the ceiling, or maybe wrap it behind the back. Taking the right hand back towards the floor if you moved it, pushing into the hand and bring yourself back towards your forearms, and then walk the hands back round towards the top of the mat, and then bringing in that right knee. I'm going to do that on the other side. I'm just going to swap ends, you don't have to do that. Taking the left foot out behind, tucking the toes under, you're just getting that bit of an opening down the back of the left leg. Then turning the left foot parallel with the side of the mat. You might want to take the right foot out behind slightly, coming onto the fingertips of your left hand, and then when you're ready, reaching that left arm up towards the ceiling. And then you've got the option of taking that arm over by the ear, really pushing the left side of the rib cage up towards the ceiling. And then taking the right arm back up, and then slowly making yourself towards an upright position here. Reaching right arm up towards the ceiling, and then taking that side bend over to the left. Coming back centre, and then just take your hands down towards the floor in front, again like we did on the other side. We're going to come into that gentle rock backwards and forwards, and you can either do this up on the hands or you can drop to the forearms. And if you were down on the forearms, just make your way back up onto your palms. I'm going to take that twist. So reach the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then bringing that hand down underneath the left armpit, lower the face towards the floor, and you can either plant the left hand into the floor and gently push yourself into the twist, or you can reach the left arm up, maybe even hook it round your back. Bringing that left hand back towards the floor, planting it into the floor, and just bring yourself back up onto your hands, and then we're going to walk back round towards the top of the mat again, and just bring in that left knee. So we're back in our 4-point kneeling. Just take the big toes so they're touching, and we're going to come into a child pose from here. So you could either keep the knees sort of together or hip distance. If you want a bit more of a hip stretch, you could take them to about the width of the mat, and then just drop the bottom back towards the heels, and just lower the forehead down towards the floor. If it doesn't come to the floor, you might rest it on a block or your forearms. If the forehead does touch the floor, you might gently rub and massage from side to side. Give yourself a bit of a massage onto your forehead. then just look into the space between the hands, and then bring yourself all the way forwards, down on towards your front, and just take your elbows underneath your shoulders. We're going to find our Sphinx pose here. So shoulders away from ears, chest nice and lifted, coming forwards. So you're aiming to pull it through the shoulders. If you feel a bit pinchy in your lower back, you could engage your glute muscles, your buttock muscles, and your abdominals. This can help protect. If it's still feeling pinchy, just take the hands a bit further forward so the back bend's not quite so high. And feel free to move here. So you might have to look over one shoulder and then the other. Coming back to stillness, lowering down, take the hands underneath the shoulders and push back towards a 4-point kneeling. Then from here, tucking the toes under and just hover the knees a couple of centimetres off the floor. Really engage your tummy muscles here. And then just start to push the bottom up towards the ceiling, finding a downward facing dog. And from your downward facing dog, I'm just going to move forward in towards a plank. And then back up towards a downward facing dog. Just take a couple of these. Just getting the shoulders used to bearing a bit of weight. Just make this your last round. And then from here, pick up the right leg, reaching the right leg up towards the ceiling. And then bringing the knee in towards the nose, just hovering it under the chest for a moment and stepping that foot through. Help it through if it doesn't quite get there the first time. We're going to drop down towards our left knee. We're going to find a low lunge here. So from your low lunge, ankle the knee in line. And then just start to bend and straighten into that front leg, just warming up that hamstring a bit. I quite often put this into a practice. It's a really good way. It's about one of the best things you can do if you want to get front splits one day. And then when that knee is bent, just coming back to stillness, just plant the left hand into the floor, reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. Lowering right hand back down, planting right hand into the floor, reaching left arm up towards the ceiling. Lowering back down, and from here just start to straighten into that leg. We're going to find our half split. So really pull the right hip back. And you can either stay here, you could lower yourself a bit more on towards that front leg. Or if you want to play with the sensation a bit, you could start to take the bottom back towards the left heel, maybe rest it onto the left heel, and then fold over that foot. That might give you some more feedback into that right leg. And if you did take the variation that I took, then just come back towards that low lunge, frame that front foot. We're all going to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then find our way back to our downward facing dog. Just take a moment to check in and see if those legs are feeling any different. Does the right leg feel different to the left? And then from here, just lift the left leg up towards the ceiling, taking a three-legged dog. time bending into the knee, bringing that knee towards the nose, hovering it under the chest, and then step that foot through, drop down towards the right knee, so we're on the other side now, and just come into that flexing and straightening movement into the left leg. It doesn't have to completely straighten by any means here. It's your practice. It could only straighten a tiny little bit. Next time the knee is bent, holding it there, planting right hand in towards the floor, reaching left arm up towards the ceiling, coming into our simple twist. Lowering left hand down, planting left hand into the floor, reaching right arm up to the ceiling. Lowering back down, and we're going to find that half splits again. So either staying in your half split or walking the hands back, take the bottom back towards the right heel and fold over the left leg. If this is too much of a sensation, then just come into regular half splits. So from wherever you are, we're going to bend into that left knee again, and we're going to frame that foot, tuck the toes, lift the knee, and find our way back to our downward facing dog. And then just start to walk the hands up towards the top end of the mat. And then when you get there, just have them about hip distance. Have the knees soft and the knees as bent as much as you need to. Let that upper body be really heavy here. You might hold on to opposite elbows and dangle the head between the arms. Or you might interlink the fingers and gently rest the hands on towards the back of the neck. You can sway. And then from here, just take the hands on towards your shins and lift yourself into a flat back position. And take the hands onto the hips and slowly start to come up to stand. And once you're in your standing, just give yourself a moment to settle there in case you feel dizzy. And we're going to find ourselves in our mountain pose towards the top end of the mat. So standing with the big toes touching, the heels might be slightly separated here. Hands down by the side of the body. Open the palms to face forwards. And have a bit of a tuck in that tailbone. Shoulders back. You might even want to close the eyes for a moment. Just feel the body moving, any sensations going on. And then from here, just take a breath in and reach the arms up to the ceiling. You could take a prayer and look up to the thumbs. Breathing out, folding down towards the floor. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Breathe in, lifting the chest, making a flat back so the fingertips could be on the floor, or you could have the hands on the shins. And then we're going to take the feet back towards a plank position. From your plank position, the first one, we'll drop the knees down towards the floor and we'll just lower ourselves all the way down. Then you could take your Sphinx pose again, or you might want to keep the hands underneath the shoulders, peel the shoulders back and find your cobra. You could stay really low, or you could lift up a little bit higher if your back's feeling a bit more open. Lower down towards the floor, tucking the back toes. We're going to make our way to a downward facing dog. We're going to stay here for about 3 breaths. looking to the space between the hands, and we're going to step one foot up and then the other towards the top end of the mat. Take as many steps as you need. Breathe in the lifting up the chest, making a flat back, folding down towards the legs again, and breathing in, coming up, taking the arms up, touching the palms together, look at the thumbs, and then bringing the hands back down by the sides. We'll go again. Breathe in, reaching arms up, touching palms together. Breathing out, folding down towards the floor. Making a flat back for you. Planting the hands, take the feet back towards your plank. You might want to drop the knees again, or this time you might want to lower yourself all the way down to the floor with control. Keeping the hands underneath the shoulders. Taking that cobra again, maybe you're feeling like you can take it a bit higher this time. Coming back down, finding your toes, finding that downward facing dog, that upside down V shape. Looking to the space between the hands and bringing the feet up. Breathe in, lifting the chest, breathing out to fold. Breathing in, taking the arms up, touching the palms together, breathing out. And this time, we'll take it a little bit quicker. This will be the last one of these we'll do. So breathe in, taking the arms up towards the ceiling. Breathe out, folding down towards the floor. Breathe in, lifting the chest, making a flat back. You could step the feet back, or you might want to hop them back into your chaturanga. Make sure you land on a bent elbow if you're doing that. And you might want to lower down and just hover. And then finding cobra, or maybe an upward facing dog, where the only points of contact are the palms and the tops of the feet. And then rolling over the toes, finding your downward facing dog. Then looking to the space between the hands, and again you could either step or you could hop the feet up. Breathing in to make a flat back, breathing out to fold. Slowly coming up, taking the palms up, lowering back down. Now from here, take a step back, about a leg's length, so not super wide here. Reach the arms out towards a T shape. Turn in your left foot, turn out your right foot, then start to reach into the right hand and lowering the hand down towards the shin, the ankle, the foot, the floor, wherever works better for you, opening the chest out. Left arm can go up to ceiling, or it could go behind the back, that works better. Try and find extension in both sides of the rib cage here, so we don't want to collapse, to be quite lifted. You can gaze up or you can gaze down. Slowly engaging your side obliques and your legs, moving back upright, turning the feet square, and turning in the right foot, turning out the left foot. Start reaching into that left arm, and then taking the left arm down, and then the right arm up or back and behind. You might notice one side of the body feels more open than the other. Slowly taking yourself back upright, and then turning towards the top of the mat, And then take a step up, back to your mountain pose. And then we're going to step back again, but a little bit wider this time. Reach the arms out to a T shape, turning the left foot and turning out the right foot. Take a bend into the right knee, so you're aiming this right thigh parallel. It may or may not get there. And then just lower your right elbow towards that thigh, reaching the left arm up and over. Slowly coming back through centre. Just drop the left arm down to the back of the leg, turn the right palm up, reversing that warrior, keeping that leg as parallel as you can. Moving back through centre, and then either retaking your side angle like you did before, or you might feel like you want to take the arm a bit lower, go a bit deeper. So you can either take the hand to the inside or the outside of the foot, or you could reach your left arm behind your back and hook onto your thigh, and maybe even reach that right arm underneath the thigh and find a bind. But try and keep the chest lifted here. If it's causing you to do this, it's probably not that useful for you. The best to take one of the other options. So wherever you are, find your way back to that warrior two, straighten into that leg, turn the feet square, then turn in the right foot, turn out the left foot, and then bend in towards the left leg. So we're in our warrior two on the other side, and then take that side angle, resting the elbow on towards the thigh, reaching the right arm up and over. Moving back through centre, then dropping right arm down, turning left palm up, reversing your warrior. And then moving back through centre, and again we're going to take our side angle, so you could stick with the one we did before, take the hand down to the floor, or you might choose a half or a full bind. And from here we're going to turn back down to the floor. We're going to take the hands either side of that foot, and then we're going to take a step back to a downward facing dog. Now it's your choice. You could either wait here, take a child pose, or you could move through a flow. So if you're moving through a flow, just finding your way into plank, lowering down, maybe hovering, choosing a back bend that works for you, cobra, upward dog, and then finding downward facing dog. And then from here, looking towards the top end of the mat, bending into the knees, either stepping or hopping the feet up. Breathing, lifting the chest, making a flat back, breathing out to fold. Breathing in, coming up, you might take the arms up, touch the palms together, breathing out. And now from here we are going to take a similar wide stance, keeping the hands on towards the hips. So starting off, we're just going to take a forward fold. So breathing, lifting the chest, push the hips forwards. You might look up. And then as you breathe out, just start to fold down with a flat back towards the floor. You might touch the hands down towards the floor, maybe in line with the feet. You can't fold too deep. You might rest them on the shins or the thighs, whatever works best for you. Breathe in, lifting the chest. Breathing out, folding down, either looking in between the feet or maybe gazing to the wall behind you. Breathe in, making a flat back. I'm going to just walk our hands around towards the right foot, and we're going to take hold of either the shin or the ankle and just fold yourself in towards that leg. Moving back through centre, taking yourself around towards the left side, holding on to the shin or the ankle, folding in towards the left leg. And then moving back to centre, I'm going to take one more fold down the centre, but choose a hand position that feels good for you. You might want to repeat the hands on the floor. You might want to hook the big toes or hold on to the legs. Just do whatever feels nice. Take a breath in, lifting the chest, and then folding down. Breathe in, lifting the chest up, walk the hands forwards, and then we're going to take them around towards the top of the mat, so hopefully you're framing your front foot, and then take a step back towards downward facing dog. And again, yogi's choice, you can wait here or move through a flow. So breathing into plank, breathing out, coming down. Breathing in, lifting the chest, breathing out. We're going to come to a seated position from here. So you could either just sit down, you could step, or if you want to hop the feet through, experimenting with that, just hopping and then crossing the legs as you jump through, and then landing either in between the hands or out in front of you. Gets easier with practice, I promise. So find yourself in a seated position, and then just bring the right knee in towards the chest and just allow it to drop out to the side. We're going to find our Janu Shirshasana here. So breathing, taking the arms up, and then folding down over that left leg. Just let the hands land where they land. Breathing, lifting the chest, and then finding your fold. Lifting the chest up, walking the hands back in, and then just turn around, taking the left hand towards the left knee, the right hand behind, taking it into a twist. Just checking that left foot's still flexed. Option to stay in this twist, or you could plant the right hand, pointing to the left toes, and reversing that, taking like a baby wild thing here, lifting the hips up, lowering back down, turning back forwards, straightening out that right leg, bending in the left leg, or take on the other side. So take the left sole against the right thigh, taking the arms up, breathing in, and then breathing out to fold forwards over that right leg. Breathing, lifting the chest, and then breathing out. knee, left hand behind, finding your twist. If you want to take it further, planting left hand, pointing right toes, lifting the hips up, taking that right arm up and over. Lowering back down, turning forwards, and then taking that left leg out. And we're going to come down onto our backs from here, and this is where that block and strap is going to come in handy. So just lowering yourself down towards your back. And we're just going to begin by taking the strap all of your belt, and we're just going to take it underneath the ball or the sole of the right foot. I'm going to take the leg up, so having the leg straight but not locked, so you don't want to have a hyperextended knee here. So the leg is straight but it's not super straight, and you can either stay here like this, or you can straighten the left leg out along the floor. I'm using a strap today because sometimes if you do lift up and grab the big toe, it brings a lot into the shoulders and the shoulders can start lifting up. So I'm aiming just to keep everything very relaxed here. So keep the shoulders down on towards the floor. Obviously you're holding onto the strap with your hands. If the leg starts to give and come a bit closer, just gently reel the strap in a little. Don't force anything. And then from here, we're just going to guide that right leg out to the side. So this is where it comes in handy to have the strap, so there's no tension in the upper body here. I'm not trying to reach for my toe or anything. The hips are staying level. The right foot does not have to touch the floor by any means. Don't aim for that because that's not the object. Just really slowly, just start to guide that leg back upright, bend in towards the knee and take the strap off, just plant both feet into the floor and then take the left leg up and just hook your strap or belt around the sole of the left foot, and then get yourself settled and then decide if you want to keep your right leg bent or if you want to straighten it out. You might notice that the two sides have quite different experiences. Checking that the knee's not hyperextending and super straight. Check the shoulders are relaxed. And then just start to guide that left leg out to the side. I'm going to slightly move over to give myself space. Hopefully you've got more space than me. Checking both shoulders are still on the floor, the hips are still squared. then really slowly start to bring that leg back upright and just release the strap off. And just bring the knees in towards the chest for a moment. You can put your strap over to one side now. Now we're going to use our block. So take your block or thick book and we're going to place it underneath the hips on its lowest setting. Now make sure it is underneath the hips, not underneath the back, because that can make it pretty uncomfortable. We're going to do a variation of assisted bridge. It's going to have a bit of a twist. This is why we're keeping the block quite low down. So we're going to bring the right knee in towards the chest. You can hold around the back of the thigh, or you could hold around the shin, whatever's accessible. And then if your back's feeling okay, you might start working that left leg straight. And the closer you bring the knee into the chest, the more of a extension you're going to get into that left hip flexor. You might not want to straighten the left leg out all the way. And just check in if your back's feeling alright. If it's feeling pretty uncomfortable in this extension, you might just want to take the block away and just have the knee into the chest, laying down onto your back. Now if your back's feeling okay here and you want to go a bit deeper, you can, if you've got a yoga block, you might turn it onto a slightly higher setting. Obviously yoga blocks are different shapes, so some of them might not be suitable for this. I'm just taking it at a slightly higher setting, so it's more of a back extension, it's more of an opening into that left hip flexor. You might find that right knee is not coming as close in as it was before. And then just bend into that left knee if it was straight, and then plant the right foot down onto the floor. And we're going to just shift our block, if you had it higher, back to its lowest setting. We're going to bring the left knee into the chest and straighten out the right leg if that's there for you. So take a few breaths here. It's not necessarily going to feel the same as it did on the other side. And then if you want to take the block onto a higher setting, just plant the right foot, flip it around onto its side, and then just resume how you were before. Noticing any new sensations that are coming in. Then just start to bend in that right knee and plant the left foot onto the floor. And if you had your block on its higher setting, you're just going to drop it down to the lower one again, making sure that the block is under the hips. And then we're going to bring right knee into chest and then left knee into chest. Take the hands down by the sides of the body and just straightening the legs up to the ceiling. We're going to take our waterfall pose here. Now you can take this not on a block. You could have done any of this without the equipment, but I think the equipment sometimes assists in our practice, helps us to find depth and a bit more knowledge sometimes. So in your waterfall pose, have your legs straight but not extended, so I'm not tense. My knees are soft, my feet aren't particularly pointed or flexed. I'm just finding passiveness as I can here. Then we're just going to bend the knees back in from here and take the feet back to the floor. Lift the hips up and just remove that block from underneath and place it off to one side, lowering down, and just bring one knee into the chest and then the other, maybe hugging them in. You might rock from side to side. And just plant the feet down onto the floor, take the arms to a T or a cactus shape. Lift the hips up, take them over to the right, and just allow the knees to drop over to the left. So coming into a simple twist. Engage your abdominals and just bring the knees back centre. Centralise the hips and then lift them up, take them over to the left and drop the knees over to the right. Take that abdominal brace again and just bring the knees back centre. Just take them back in towards the chest, holding around, final rock. We're going to find our Shavasana from here. So if you like to take a long Shavasana or a bit of a longer one, just turn off the video, make yourself comfortable, get any warmer clothing you need and just lay back onto your mat. If you're staying with me, you just make yourself comfortable, close your eyes. I'll end the practice with the singing bowl like always in a few minutes. Start to take some deeper breaths. Breathing energy back into the body. And then begin to bring movement back in. So you might be wriggling fingers and toes. You might want to take a full body stretch, or maybe hugging the knees in. And just roll over to a side when ready. And then slowly find your way round to a seated position. Once seated, reaching the arms up, touch the palms together collectively, bringing them down to centre of chest. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Namaste. Hopefully see you soon.